Welcome back to Fox 2 News at 6. Thousands of protests against the Trump administration are scheduled to take place around the country this weekend, including here in St. Louis. Fox 2's Chad Mira reports now police and the National Guard are preparing to respond to any civil unrest.
The No Kings protests have been planned for more than a month now to coincide with the U.S. military parade planned for the weekend. But with anti-ICE protests sparking violence in L.A. recently, this movement is getting a lot of extra attention. Amidst heightened national attention, police, the Missouri National Guard, and even protesters are bracing for a weekend of No Kings rallies.
I think a lot of people are rightly concerned. You know, they see Governor Kehoe announcing that we are in a state of emergency. That's alarming. But people are seeing what's happening in LA, they're seeing what's happening to immigrants in the country, and they're worried.
Protests are scheduled all over, downtown in Missouri River Township, St. Peters. Laura Gordon helped organize one in Baldwin, where she says thousands are likely to attend.
From our end, we've already coordinated with police. We have medics on the scene, we have lawyers on the scene, but we are also telling people this is peaceful.
No draft, no KKK.
Police are preparing too. SLMPD released a statement saying, quote, "The St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department will utilize all means necessary to protect our community. The safety of everyone, demonstrators, residents, and visitors remain our top priority." Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe also activated the Missouri National Guard in anticipation of civil unrest. U.S. Senator Josh Hawley trusts they'll be ready.
I absolutely trust the governor here to keep Missourians safe. You know, it's the first duty of government to keep a law-abiding citizen safe. And I support him. I support law enforcement. We've got terrific law enforcement in Missouri.
Gordon says if the Guard does show up, she hopes they'll also serve as extra protection for peaceful protesters.
It's easy to see this as an escalation of violence, but at the end of the day, I support our military. You know, I want my veterans to have rights and care.
For a list of some of the protests happening in our area, go to fox2now.com. In studio, Chad Mira.
Yo, what's up, guys? American Mexican Gunslinger. Like I said, y'all guys, that these protests are coming here in Missouri and Kansas City. So if you guys are out there, be prepared and be ready. You know, there's a lot of folk out here that want to just cause violence and chaos, and they want to just cause destruction and havoc, you guys. You know, there's a lot of men out here who just want to see the world burn, and they'll do whatever it takes to make it happen, you guys. So what's up, guys? I'm American Mexican Gunslinger. I am live right now. I am live. If I don't see you guys in the chat box, it's because I am on my computer and it's kind of hard to see who's talking and who's not, you guys. But I'm going live right now. The world, the whole United States is going on fire right now. And a lot of protesters and a lot of people are angry because of Trump's, rules and laws that he has taken in place with his executive orders. But you guys, this is just going to grow more intense. It's going to get a lot worse as the days progress. And right now, as we speak, there are protests going on in Kansas City right now, Los Angeles. And then there's that military parade going on in Washington as well. So Mr. President Trump, you know, sitting like a true king on his birthday, making $45 million of this parade. And guess who's paying for it? Taxpayer expense, because his billionaire money is not paying for this. This is all our taxpayer money paying for all these things that are happening right now, including these protests, which I feel the research that I've been doing is that even these giant corporations like Walmart are involved with these protests, you guys. And I'm not surprised that happens, you guys, because these giant corporations, like I said, are working with the same government entity to make us fight each other. And that's why they want these protests, these No Kings protests. Who is, you know, in charge of these No Kings protests? Who's the one supplying them with the funds to do these things, you know? Passing out $40 masks and free flags, American flags now, because supposedly now that they were running the Mexican flags, burning the United States of America down, it kind of makes it seem kind of otherwise. Like, you want to be here lawfully, but yet then you do unlawful things. Like, that's just a kick to your own crotch. You know what I'm saying, you guys? So, yeah, this protest is going live right now as we speak, here in Kansas City, Missouri, you guys. And, I'm like, 20 minutes away from this place, you guys. So I'm not too far from here. Usually on the Sabbath, I go out in Kansas City in downtown areas to go feed homeless people whenever I have time. But lately they've been more hostile, and like the whole situation with these protests, it's going to be less likely for me to be out there helping these folk. But a lot of these individuals here that are protesting now, they're just doing it because they feel like they have the obligation to do something right, when in reality they're just literally stubbing their own toe and saying, hey, it's their fault for having my toe stumped. You know what I'm saying? So you guys need to be aware with these situations. This is all a giant operation conducted by the corporations and the governments that rule this whole world stage, you guys, and we are just part of it. We are just part of it. We are the little ants in the colony, and if one of the ants in the colony does one thing, and the rest of the colony will follow suit, and will make things a lot more worse, you guys. So yeah, this is going down right now, you guys. This is live. I mean, this footage is not live right now, but like they're doing this right now. Like, they're still out there, you guys. Like, the live footage was cut off a little while back, but let's see what's going on over here.
Cutting the birthday cake with an army saber.
Introducing Wegovy through Hers. Lose weight and keep it off with this FDA-approved treatment for weight loss. Now available at an affordable price for 50% off. Lose weight and pay less with Wegovy through Hers. Start today at forhers.com.
Sorry about that, folks. I have ads because I'm not signed in, but as you guys can see right now, the No Kings protest is live going on in LA right now. I think LA was the ones that got hit the worst right now. Like I said, I grew up in California, so I know how these Californians will act, you guys. We Californians are kind of savagery when it comes to like protests and like showing their expressions of themselves and expressing their emotions, you guys. So yeah, I know how Californians are when it comes to these things and when it comes to protests, you guys. They're really aggressive people. It's not like other states out there, you know what I'm saying? Like, California can get really wild sometimes, and I'm just putting it out there because I've lived in that state for almost 19 years, you guys, of my life, and I moved out because of laws and stuff and the way they interpret people with defending themselves and stuff. But now I'm in Missouri, and guess what? That same protest stuff that's happening over there in LA is in Missouri now. But look at these people rocking those American flags now. They want to rock the American flag because they don't want to see themselves as terrorists. But these same people are giving a bad name and a bad image to our fellow Hispanic, Mexican Americans who are hard laborers who want to work and have a better future for their families. And that's why they come to this country, for the better future. If these people continue just to destroy this home, our country, the United States of America, and are mad that they don't want to get deported to their homeland, Mexico, yet then, why would they be scared to be deported in the first place? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? You're living in this country for a reason. Like, stop. You're being prideful over a different country, yet living in. It doesn't make sense, you guys. It just really doesn't make sense. It's like it's just something that's just. It just doesn't make sense. It has to make sense when it comes to these things, and this one just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. Oh, now there's someone in the way. Okay. We don't want to see an Asian lady right here. No, I'm not racist. I'm just trying to see what's going on with this whole situation of these protesters. But this is live right now in LA, you guys. But the situations are just going to grow rapidly. They're just going to grow a lot worse. And there's really no solution to when it comes to these kind of things, you guys. Trump is doing his own thing, and these people are doing their own thing. But it's wild. It's crazily wild how history repeats itself in a way of just changing the ideology of why they're protesting in the first place. First it was the George Floyd riots, and this is all happening when the Democrats were in charge, when they were the ones, doing all these things. There was no riots going on, no protests. But as soon as a Republican gets into office, all these things start playing in place. Like, their democracy is not their democracy anymore. They feel like they've gotten cheated on, even though it's been a fair fight the whole time. But these governmental institutions, these giant corporations, they don't want us to succeed. Look at that palatero man right there, bro. That fool's making his money, bro. He knows what he's doing. He's making money out there, He ain't there for the riots. He ain't there for the protests. He's there to make that money, which most Hispanic Mexicans are here for. They're not going to be out there protesting. Illegal immigrants aren't going to be out there protesting. And if they are going to be protesting, these illegal immigrants, it's kind of stupid of them. You're just... Oh yeah, I don't want to be detained by ICE, but I'm going to go and protest in front of an ICE building so I can get detained later. People are dumb, man. People are dumb. I've seen a lot of, today in my hometown of Selma, California, we have flea markets over there, a bunch of them. And I guess today on the Sabbath, there was a flea market. It's called a cherry auction. If you guys are not familiar with that, in Selma, California, around there, the cherry auction is another flea market. And I guess beforehand, before the Saturday came up, the cherry auction happened. They warned everyone not to go because there was going to be ICE present there. And behold, very little showed up. Very little people showed up, and it was dead. It was only a fragment of sellers, probably only 15% of sellers showed up there, you guys, and not a lot of buyers showed up there either. Okay, they're scared. There's people that are really scared to be deported, you guys, but the people that are out there protesting is just making these people who are in hiding look a lot worse than what it really is, you guys. Because they're already breaking the law in their presence. Basically standing on American soil with their own presence in line. They are breaking the law. Basically just their presence is breaking the law. in the soil of the United States of America. See, but all these things that are happening, you know, these protesters are setting things on fire, destroying things. These are all criminals. These are all criminals, either illegally or Americans who are just wanting to just help our Mexican brothers by destroying their own country. Like, it does, I'm telling you, all these protests just don't make sense to me. But the more and more you see the clearer picture of what they're doing, it makes absolutely more sense. You know what I mean? But it's just crazy how history repeats itself, because with the whole COOF thing, when we were locked inside our doors, no one was out there protesting nothing. They were protesting what? George Floyd getting killed, the Black Lives Matter movement? That's what they were protesting. They weren't protesting for their freedom. They weren't protesting that, you know, our body, our choice. You know, we decide what we're going to inject into our bodies or what we want to put in our bodies, you know what I'm saying? But yet then, you know, the government, these corporations fired, let go of majority of the population who worked because of an experimental shot, because they didn't want us to express ourselves, saying our body, our choice. But when someone else does it and, you know, just casually just destroys a unborn child from the womb because they feel like they have the obligation to do so, they can. But if it has something to do, like doing something right, like the morally right thing to do, they say no, you can't, because that's the way Satan's whole world works. Satan has a giant deception that has planted into these people's brains. They have no clue. They have no clue. This is spiritual warfare playing right in front of them. That right in front of them, they're playing the whole role of the Bible coming into fruition, you guys. They have no idea, because they have probably never read the Bible or probably never even think about it. I know there's so many things happening around the world, like even Israel and Iran right now, you know, they're clashing at it, you know, Iran retaliating towards Israel, like all these wars, all these rumors of wars, all these things that are happening, all this chaos, all this destruction. For what benefit? What does it benefit us to destroy ourselves? What does it benefit? Who gains from this? Because the people who destroy themselves are not gaining anything. So who is the one gaining this? Who's gaining from this? Who is? Is it the politicians? Is it the illegal immigrants? Is it the government? Or is it just these giant corporations? Is it the media? Who is it? Who is all behind this? You know, this is a fire that's slowly growing and growing and growing. And the fire department has no employees to put out the fire. So how is this fire going to get put out? Well, let me tell you how this fire gets put out. And a lot of people are not going to believe me. You let it burn. You let the fire keep burning. You let it keep burning until there's no more flames, just smoke. It'll eventually put itself out. You don't want to insist of helping putting the fire out, because, you know, sometimes these fires can have, you know, hot burning oil. What happens if you add water to the hot burning oil? Exactly. It just spreads. It just gets worse. There's no means of making this better, you guys. I'm going live right now because I feel like I have to talk about this. This is something that we need to discuss. This is something that we need to understand. And a lot of my subscribers, you know, if you're listening out there, I'm not just any average Mexican American dude, you know. I see the cookie, how it crumbles, you know. I've been studying the government. I've been studying corporations since I was, a teenager, you guys. Since I was young. I was a youngster, man. I grew up watching these YouTube channels, you know. And the way they work and the way that their information gets passed out to one another is just extraordinary. It makes you realize that we're living in a biblical time of where prophecy is taking place in front of us, whether we believe it or not. Every single human being has a purpose. What is their purpose? Because God created us, brought us into this world for a reason, you know. And it wasn't to destroy his creation. I mean, if it was beyond means, you know, he wouldn't have created it just to destroy it. It doesn't make sense. But what does make sense is that his creation has been corrupted by Satan. And God lets it happen because prophecy is taking place right now as we speak. So much violence and hatred towards police, towards one. It's all for what? What? No one gains anything from this, you guys. It's just people that are riled up with emotional aspects. They feel like they need to express themselves a certain way because they believe this or that. And, you know, it's the same thing with religion, on why we're fighting Muslims against Christians and Hebrews against Muslims and, you know, Buddhas against, you know, Muslims. And, you know, it's all come to place. That's why the Indians in Iran and all these other, you know, Israel, Iraq, the United States, Ukraine, Russia, like, this whole world is in chaos right now, you guys. But it's for a reason. It's for a reason. It's for the New World Order. The New World Order. All these politicians who have expressed their way of saying, hey, the New World Order is going to happen. It's because people are too dumb and ignorant to understand that they're the ones that are going to make it happen. The government and the corporations of these whole run operations, these people are in charge of the world. And they use us as little puppets, little ants, to do their devious work because they don't want to get their hands dirty. So the way they do it is by media, CIA, Mockingbird experiments, mind manipulation, deceiving, lying. You know, all these things come to play, you guys. All these things come to play. Let's see what's going on over here across the U.S. You know, right here we're in New York City right now. This is live in New York. I don't know how far this live stream's gone, but it's still going on right now, you guys. It's still going on right now. That's crazy. It's crazy. I only wish there was protests like this when a Democrat president was in charge, you know what I mean? No kings, you know what I mean? But no. Like I said, I'm more conservative leaning, you guys. I'm more conservative leaning, but that does not mean I am Republican, because there's no freaking way I associate with these people. And I don't associate with Democrats. So who do I stand for? I stand for the freedom fighters, man. We're out here trying to express and tell everyone and warn everyone that this is a giant operation conducted by our government and the corporations who feed upon it, you guys. I probably sound like one of those conspiracy theories, but look in front of you. Look at your eyes. Look at all the protests and riots that are happening right now. And look how the government lets it happen. And then one side of the government's like, no, we're not going to let it happen. So we have to deploy our military into U.S. soil. You know what I'm saying? You're basically conducting a war against civilians. That is what's happening right now. That is the whole agenda. The whole goal was a war against you, my fellow people, my fellow Americans, my fellow people who live in this country. You are that problem. You are the enemy towards the government and these giant corporations. They have built so many things in this past life, guys, that they don't need us anymore. They really don't. They have built everything that they need, everything that they wanted, without surprising us citizens with what they're doing underground. Because we're so damn driven into our own emotions, our own role of life, our own ideas, our own problems. We're all stuck in that, you know. We cannot unstuck ourselves from the solution except for understanding what is happening around us, having discernment, having wisdom, having hope, having the ability to spread the gospel to one another. You know, I know a lot of people hate hearing that nowadays. They hate hearing about the Bible. They hate hearing about the gospel. They're like, don't talk to me about Jesus. Don't talk to me about God. I don't want to know anything about this. I'm doing what's happening right now as we speak. But what's happening right now as we speak is what God is letting happen right now, you guys. God lets these things happen for a reason. And we're just the spectators, you know. All we can do is just pray without ceasing, making sure we are protected spiritually, mentally, physically. You know, I know I got subscribers out there with kids, man. Take care of your children, man. You know, if you can homeschool them, man. Do what you can. These government institutions are not our friends, man. They never will be. They will always go against the people, regardless of the situation, because they want the government institutions and these giant corporations always want to be right about these situations. Always want to be right. You know, I'll probably go back live later if things continue escalating, you know, keep getting worse. But let me see. Let's see what's going on with that flag parade, you know. They're having a whole flag parade because, you know, they're going to have a start of lots of false flags happening today right now, you guys. So, yeah. I'm going to click on one of these right here. Let's see what's good.
As we've been out here since this protest has started, a lot of people have been and some fear with what the Brevard County Sheriff said. Those comments were seen around the world, shared around the world, but he made very clear he wanted this protest to be peaceful. As we have been out here, there has been no concerns about violence. Everything has been peaceful, but some people told us, some of their friends that were going to come out decided not to attend this event because they were concerned about those comments and they were not sure if they...
Yeah, so this protest right now is in Florida, you guys. It's in Orlando, as you guys can see. There's people that are protesting peacefully. Yeah, that's great, you know. Do what you got to do. That's your right, you know. You have a right to freedom of speech, you know. And a lot of people take it for granted. And then they tell us, oh, we don't have the right to bear arms, when it clearly it's our right. Did you guys know we don't have a right to a vehicle? That is an actual, like, privilege to drive a vehicle. You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing in our Constitution that says, you know, you have the right to bear a car. You know, but when it comes to the Second Amendment, you know, the Constitution, we have the right to bear arms, you know. And they're so against that and stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy. Alright, I'm going to go to a different one. I want to see these news anchors talking about whatever they're talking about. Alright, you guys. Sorry, my internet's a little slow, you know, because I live, you know, I live way out in the country. Whoa, that looks like a pixelated square. I don't know what's that. What is it? Filmed on a potato or something, man. Let me try to fix it real quick. Oh, it seems like... Nah, it seems like they're filming on a potato. Oh, no, now it's HD. But yeah, you guys, there's so many things happening right now in the whole United States of America and around the world as well, you guys. Here's the thing that we can do for ourselves and for the truth seekers out there and for those who just, you know, run into my channel or whatever, you know. Keep it peaceful, man, you know. If I were you guys, I wouldn't protest anywhere around there, you guys. You know, I wouldn't do any of that. I would just stay home, You know, do what you gotta do. You know, drink your beer, sit down, smoke your cigarette, do what you gotta do, eat your food, you know, vape your vape. Just don't go out there and protest, you guys. What difference is it gonna make? It ain't gonna make a difference. You have the right to protest and do whatever you want, but what is that gonna really change Trump's mind? No, it's not. It's not gonna change any of these governmental corporations' mind. It just is not. Look at how these giant corporations do these operations. They have no means of giving a crap about you or me. They don't care. They have all the money in the world. Honestly, that's what I'm telling you guys. They don't need us anymore. They have everything they want in their hands. What else are they gonna want? You know, it's just like Walmart, for example. You know, all these billionaires and all these people who own Walmart, they can just shut it down whenever they want and be like, you know what? I don't care about you guys. I don't need to do this. Just take all their money and just shut down all their businesses and just dip. You know, all these corporations, that's all there is. They're just giant businesses. Just because they want your money, they want the power, and because they supply you guys with needs that you need every single day, like toilet paper to wipe your butt, you know, water so we can drink water. All these things are coming into place for a reason, you guys. Once these giant corporations and governments are like, nope, we're just gonna fend for ourselves, forget the people, a lot of people are gonna suffer and perish, you guys. I'm telling you, these giant corporations literally have us by the balls. They literally do. I don't know that many people who know how to make bread. I don't know that many people who know how to make clean water. I don't know how many people know how to hunt. I don't know how many people know about firearms and technology. You know, I don't know how many people, you know how to grow food. Half these people, majority of these people, rely on corporations and governments. That's why they're protesting out there, because they're relying on the government to change their solutions. They're relying on someone else to change it for them. The people have lost a lot of their power already. A lot. A lot. All we can do now is just pray. And pray. And make sure that we are well trained when these things happen. We are well prepared when these things happen. But we shouldn't stress over it either, because we know all these things are going to take place. We just have to stand together and endure till the end, you guys. Because majority of these people who want to care about this country, their home, the same people who care so much about it are the same people that are going to destroy it slowly but surely. Look how many people are out there, you guys. So many people are out there protesting for people that are not supposed to be here in the first place. Think about that. If you understand that particular situation right there in front of you, then what exactly are we standing up for? You know, all these people protesting, you know, what are they looking for? What exactly are they trying to change? Like I said, if everyone becomes a legal citizen, what is there to fight about? Even the ones who are, you know, criminals, the ones who have murdered, robbed, and, you know, assaulted, you know, children and women, those people too are part of that protest. They're hidden within those protesters right now as we speak. But no one's going to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? No one's going to talk about that. But also no one wants to talk about why these people come to this country illegally. Why doesn't no one want to talk about that? You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to talk about it right now, raw as we go. The reason why is because of tracking. It's because of what they're doing. Because they know they're going to be doing crimes. They're going to be doing something wrong. That's why they come here illegally. And there's other reasons too. Because the government in Mexico doesn't want its citizens to come to a different country to make it grow and expand and make it better. So the Mexican government also makes it harder for their people to want to get their American citizenship as well. See, but if so many people don't want to go back to Mexico, but yet they're rocking the Mexican flags, why don't they want to go back? Even to those people who are not from Mexico, but are like from Ecuador or, you know, Peru and all these other places in Southern America, you know, all these places, you know, how come these folk don't want to go back? But they want to come to this country illegally, but they don't want to go back to their country. Because their country, their government, the corporations have taken over and destroyed it. You can blame the gangs all you want. You can blame them all you want. But in the end, you guys, it's all a big plan. And we're not part of it. You know what I mean? All we can do is just warn each other, like I said. Keep warning each other and telling each other the truth. Spread the gospel. Making sure we're all stay peaceful. Because these things are just going to escalate and grow to something that we have never seen before. World War III, when that begins, when that starts, when World War III starts, that's when we're going to have a war on American soil, you guys. But right now we can't see the enemies. Because they're not in front of us, you guys. They're everywhere. They're scattered. Everywhere. Everywhere. This was part of the plan, you guys. They want to destroy this country within. How do you destroy a country? Within itself, you guys. From the inside out. That's how you destroy it. Because you cannot see the foreign invaders for who they are. They can be rocking the American flag. They can be rocking the Mexican flag. They can be rocking whatever flag they want. You'll never know who they are. You never know their motivations and their motives on why they're doing it. There's so many questions that are left unanswered, you guys. And me, as a person, you know, who grew up with illegal immigrants my whole life, you know, it is a different story. It's a different way of life, you know. And you know, I couldn't do anything about it, you know. I was just a little kid, you know, at that point, you know, seeing my mom, an illegal immigrant, you know, trying to support my family and stuff. And, you know, I always thought it was wrong that she was here illegally. But then again, you know, I always thought, like, why doesn't she have her papers, you know? Why didn't she get her green card? Why didn't she do this and that, you know? But the thing about these situations is that most people end up getting it the right, legitimate way, you know. But it's not right for those who worked so hard to be in this country legally, you guys. And for those who are illegally here, how fair is it for those who work their asses off to come to this country legally? Because the Mexican government and the American government is making it hard for these individuals to even get their documentations in the first place. So we're just neighbors fighting at this point, you guys. There's neighbors fighting. And the Mexican president, they're not going to solve anything with this. The American president, they can give a shit less about us. You know what I mean? So these problems, they're not going to get solved. The only way they want to solve them is to have open borders. You know, you have open borders, let everyone in, let everyone come in. But how is that going to be fair for the ones who are already here, who have their documentations and shit, and being tracked at that point? You know what I'm saying? We're literally being monitored and tracked. You know, and that's why right here, if you guys have worked with like Walmart Spark or something, now you need your real ID. You need your social security number for you to work for them. Because now when I go, like, let's just say I'm doing Walmart Spark, or if I see them out there, I used to see a bunch of cars out there at the parking lot waiting to pick up their orders and stuff. And there was a lot of, you know, foreigners. I'm not going to say they're Americans, because majority of them didn't speak English. But now the parking lots are empty, you guys. There's no one in the parking lots waiting to pick things up, because all these illegal immigrants were taking our jobs. You know what I'm saying? In some way or form or another, it's like we have our documentations and stuff. We have the right to work with this employer. But if this employer keeps hiring people that don't belong here, that are taking literally our jobs, you know, even delivering food and stuff, Uber Eats and all that, you know, those jobs are going to be taken not just by illegal immigrants, but coming shortly probably by AI. You know, there's going to be AI's taking over this whole world, you know, and it's not going to stop. And this is just the beginning phase of it, you guys. This is how much our government and this country doesn't need people. Because look, they're just out there. What the hell are they doing? What are they making? They're not making anything better. They're not out there trying to be lawyers. They're not out there trying to. What are they trying to do? Express their feelings and emotions. That's all these people are doing. But you have the right to do so. So go ahead. I ain't tripping. Do what you got to do. You know what I mean? Just don't hurt anybody. All right, guys. I'm gonna wrap it up. Shit's taking place everywhere. I'm American Mexican Gunslinger. Thank you guys for watching. You know, there's so much shit going on as we speak, you guys. I'll come back live again if anything pops up. But in the meantime, you know, keep your pants tucked in. Have your strap on you, you know what I mean? And if you're around these protests, man, I suggest you stay away from them. Stay home, you know, stay safe, you know, watch them from a distance, you know. Don't be involved into these situations, and you know, preach the gospel, you know, try to read your Bible and share this with everyone you can, you know. Try not to be violent out there, you know. We're trying to be peaceful, trying to, you know, show everyone how Christians are supposed to act. And we are a Christian nation, and this Christian nation is not acting like a Christian nation at all, you guys. We're acting like buffoons. We're acting like crazy psychopaths out here, you know. And this just makes us look bad in the entire world, not just the US, you guys. But thank you guys for watching. I'm American Mexican Gunslinger. More content coming up, hopefully more gun videos coming up soon. I'll see you guys then. Keep it peaceful. Peace.